Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be showcasing a trainer who went on a 19-6 run in the Master League, gaining over 200 elo in one day with level 50 Galarian Zapdos. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, Phoenix the Boss, so many thanks for the battle submission. Now, Phoenix is running an ABA Dragon team with Kyurem White on the lead, Dialga in the back, and the third Pokemon is that ever-spicy Galarian Zapdos. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and take a look at this team in action. Hopping into game number 1, we've got the Battle of the Kyurems, Kyurem White versus Kyurem Black, but this is actually a Dragon Tail Kyurem Black. We see the safe switch into the Galarian Zapdos. In comes Ho-Oh, but Ho-Oh will not appreciate double super effective ancient power. It will not knock out, but it will get a boost after the opponent shields, and now this Zapdos might be a problem for Ho-Oh to farm down. Ho-Oh goes for the Sacred Fire. They do actually get the Sacred Fire attack drop there, which means Ancient Power not going to be as threatening now. Ho-Oh looking for a farm down, but they decide against it, throwing a last-second charge attack. It's going to be the Brave Bird. In comes Kyurem. Opponent is going to bring back in Kyurem Black, and we see a beautiful switch out and a catch of the Fusion Bolt onto Dialga. Dialga looking for a full farm down here and gets it, so Dialga now exiting with quite a lot of energy. Opponent, do they bring back in the Ho-Oh? The answer is yes. Ho-Oh not quite in Iron Head range, so we will see the Roar of Time launched by the Dialga to pick up the KO. In the back, opponent has their own Dialga, and this game is already over. They just don't know it yet, because the Ice Burn is going to be reached by Kyurem White, and there's going to be no survivors here. Ice Burn KOs Dialga, and that's going to be a Game 1 win. Moving to game number 2, Kyurem White against Ho-Oh. This matchup, pretty neutral across the board. Obviously, if Ho-Oh gets a Sacred Fire debuff, things can get a little bit uncomfortable. But the nice thing here is that Ho-Oh, in trying to throw in good timing, can actually be cycle reset. So now they're forced to throw on alignment, and that is going to give Kyurem an entire free Ice Fang. The opponent goes for a Brave Bird there. That's a bit of a surprising Brave Bird, unless they're Brave Bird Solar Beam. I have seen a few Solar Beam Ho-Ohs lurking, really trying to absolutely disrespect any Rhyperior that they encounter. Brave Bird is going to pick up the KO. In comes Dialga. There's a switch. Opponent now going to send in Kyurem White, but Kyurem White is just going to get one shield farm down here by the Dialga. Dialga is going to get to exit with quite a lot of energy, and this energy is going to go far into anything that could be encountered. Unfortunately, we did see the defense drop from the Ice Burn. Are they going to bring back in the Ho-Oh? The answer is yes. Incinerate does come through. Dialga firing off the Iron Head. Iron Head barely does not knock out, and there's a quick switch into the Zapdos. Zapdos now up energy in the back. It's going to be Duskmane Necrozma, and Duskmane is not going to appreciate this close combat. Close combat rocks the Duskmane. Duskmane is getting farmed down unless it throws, so this forces energy. Sunsteel Strike picks up the KO. In comes Dialga, and it's going to be game over for the opponent as Dialga makes the Iron Head. Could have farmed down as well, but either way, all signs point to victory in game number 2. We move to game number 3, another battle between Kyurem White and Kyurem Black. Opponent safe switches into Palkia, and that is going to be swiftly answered with Dialga. Dialga, as long as it switches fast enough, should be able to go for a one-shield farm down here. Even if they bait, which they do, they're not going to be able to get to a Spatial Rend. So, this is a very safe no-shield. This is only going to be an Aqua Tail from the Palkia. So, Dialga is going to get a very nice farm down, and this energy should go pretty far. Out comes Xerneas. And Fairy types are a bit of a problem for this team. This team is 2 dragons and a fighter, so Xerneas is a bit of a difficult situation here. We're going to see the Iron Head grabbing the shield, Xerneas over farming quite a bit, and they're going to fire off their cheaper close combat to pick up the KO. And unfortunately, this energy does go everywhere into this team. In comes Kyurem White, but the farm down not enough. We will see Xerneas barely making the Moonblast, and that is going to force a shield. Back in comes Kyurem Black, and Kyurem Black with Shadow Claw is so spammy. This is going to be a very difficult game to win. I just don't trust that Zapdos is going to be able to survive a move. We're going to see Free Shock pick up the KO. In comes Zapdos. we're going to need Zapdos to survive a Fusion Bolt. And Fusion Bolt from a Pokemon with Kyurem as attack stat, it's just going to be too much. Down goes the Zapdos, and unfortunately the team takes its first loss. We move to the next match, Kyurem White against Palkia. Not a good lead matchup. We see a safe switch into Dialga, and Dialga will be answered with a Tapu Lele. Tapu Lele does have some pretty solid 2-shield matchups, but honestly, Phoenix is just not going to play out the 2-shield matchup here. He just wants to get a shield advantage. He's baited out the fairy type, and he's just trying to make Tapu Lele's life as uncomfortable as possible. The opponent does not trust the farm down, and they're going to fire off a last-second Psyshock. The opponent wasting energy like that is incredibly nice for Phoenix, as Phoenix can very comfortably go for the 1-shield farm down here. Nature's Madness is survivable, but considering there's a Palkia, health on this Kyurem is at a premium. Kyurem is charging up the Ice Burn. Ice Burn is going to connect. Down goes Palkia. They send in Tapu Lele to get farmed as well. And in the back, they're going to have Kyurem Black. We've seen Fusion Bolt is a problem for Galarian Zapdos, but these counters are shredding. Fusion Bolt is going to be shielded up. Zapdos is going to lose the CMP tie, but all Zapdos wanted to do at this point was get the fast moves, because thanks to the counters, we're going to see a full farm down by Kyurem White, and that game is going to end in a win. We move to game number 5 of the set, and it's a battle, Kyurem White versus Kyurem White, and they're both on Ice Fang. The opponent settles for a Fusion Flare, and we will see an early shield, as Fusion Flare could set up a 1-shield farm down for the opponent. But now, we're going to see a switch out into Primarina, and Primarina will immediately be hit with Ice Burn. Ice Burn connects. That is so much damage, and a defense drop is massive, as now Primarina is just getting melted by Dragon Breath. Dialga giving up the final shield, using whatever resources are available to get the Fairy type off the field. In the back, it's Rhyperior, and 2-shield Rhyperior is normally a nightmare, but there's a Dialga with 2 Iron Heads, and there's a Galarian Zapdos, and Galarian Zapdos is about to make Rhyperior have a truly terrible day. The quick switch into the Kyurem to force energy from the opponent. They're going to go for a Surf, so there's Surf Rock Wrecker. That's good to know. In comes the Zapdos, and Rock Wrecker's only going to hit for neutral here, so Zapdos is completely unfazed by this damage. Rock Wrecker lands. There's the switch into Kyurem White, but Kyurem White will immediately get knocked out by the Ancient Power. Ancient Power picks up the KO. In comes Rhyperior. That's getting farmed down by the Zapdos, and that clutches a 4-1 set. We move now into set number 2. Kyurem White, same lead as last game, into Kyurem White, and again, both are on Ice Fang. Is the opponent going to settle for the Fusion Flare here? No, it's actually Phoenix who settles for the Fusion Flare this time. Opponent can survive this, but they will end up committing the shield as they want to try and make a play for alignment. The opponent's Kyurem is missing some power-ups, so they're actually taking more damage in this matchup, and they're always going to lose a potential CMP tie. So the opponent's just not going to play for it. They're just going to let their Kyurem go, send in Dialga, and there's a pivot into the Zapdos. Opponent has nothing for the Zapdos. They send in Rhyperior. Rhyperior goes for a Breaking Swipe, and Trainer, that's not going to be enough. Breaking Swipe does actually get the 50-50 attack drop, but now there's a close combat aimed at Rhyperior. Rhyperior is going to let it go. They get KO'd. Back in comes Dialga. Dialga is going to have to burn the final shield here, and Zapdos has set itself up to where it is going to get farmed down, but that's pretty okay. Now we're going to have the Dialga Mirror, a shield on a potential Roar of Time. The opponent is going to full send the Roar of Time, and that's going to full send them to a top left as they immediately resign the match. We move to game number 2 of set 2, and it's the Dream Lead Kyurem into Lander as opponent safe switches into Palkia. And we're now going to see, as we saw before, a very comfortable 1-shield farm down from the Dialga. Dialga is going to be shielding up. It is going to be the Aqua Tail bait, but the opponent, they're only going to get to an Aqua Tail here. We actually see a throw of the Iron Head. So Phoenix may be worried that he didn't switch fast enough. He does actually end up throwing energy, but the good news is he's still able to make the Iron Head. The opponent, if they shield here, they will get a massive farm down of the Dialga, and that could make life quite uncomfortable. He aggressively pivots into Kyurem. I actually really like this play. Try and get whatever fast move damage that you can. Opponent is going to have Kyurem Black in the back. The opponent knows this is only a Fusion Flare, but this is their final Pokemon. They're going to have to burn a shield, and I am very worried that we could see a pretty disastrous end for our good friend Galarian Zapdos, unless we see a catch. Phoenix sees the win con as well. He's waiting down the timer here. Switch Clock will be available. Zapdos farming up and getting the catch. Let's go, Zapdos. Oh my goodness. Ice in the veins. Phoenix gets the farm down. Opponent switches into Landorus, and Landorus is firing off energy, but they didn't commit. They threw a Sandsear Storm, and Phoenix knew he didn't have to throw unless they were about to make it to a Stone Edge. So by going for the Sandsear Storm, they just sealed their fate. That's just not enough damage. They had to try and commit to the Stone Edge there. Granted, the Zapdos could have just thrown and prevented that energy, but at minimum they had to try, because the moment they clicked Sandsear, that game was just over. We see a very familiar lead in the next match, Kyurem White versus Kyurem Black, and this is going to be the Shadow Claw variant of Kyurem Black. Kyurem Black has farmed up to a potential free shock. We are going to see the shield as they're going to full send. There's now a switch out into Terrakion, and Terrakion is going to be now answered with Galarian Zapdos. Terrakion, an incredibly cool pick. This is actually a Pokemon that was on my expert team earlier in the season. We are going to see a shield from the Galarian Zapdos. So Zapdos going down 2 shields very early, but will have a ton of energy and an ability to hopefully get those shields back. The opponent taking their time, waiting out the switch clock here. They're going to send in Florges. Hopefully the opponent thinks it's a Brave Bird and respects it here, and they do, and another boost. Oh my goodness, this Galarian Zapdos, Ancient Power boosting left and right. That Ancient Power not going to do a lot, but it is on a CMP tie, and that is incredibly valuable. Trailblaze is going to connect, and now there's a quick switch back into the Kyurem White. Kyurem White at the back-to-back Fusion Flares. Opponent is going to shield, but there's just too much loaded energy. This Fusion Flare will KO the Florges, and all that's left in the back is going to be the Kyurem Black. Kyurem Black should be able to pick up a knockout here with a Fusion Bolt. Oh, it actually does not. A 1 HP survive. And now in comes Dialga. Very comfortable farm down to secure the win. We move to the next game, leading Kyurem White into, what do you know, same leads as always, with the Kyurems being as common as they are. Running a team that has so many checks into Kyurem, I can see why this team was working well. Like, obviously, Galarian Zapdos is an incredibly spicy pick, but it's a spicy pick that has a particular target in mind, similar to when I ran Buzzwole. And we see another Ancient Power boost. Oh my goodness, Galarian Zapdos absolutely popping off in these sets with the Ancient Power boost. This Ancient Power is going to get the final shield from the opponent. The +1 defense on the Zapdos spooks the opponent into firing off some energy. Brave Bird is going to KO the Zapdos, but this is going to set up a sick farm for Kyurem. And if there's anything that should scare you in the Master League, it's when you have 0 shields and a Kyurem is getting a big farm. They aggressively switch back into Kyurem Black, landing 1 Dragon Tail, but a second will not land as Ice Burn will pick up the KO. Opponent brings in the Ho-Oh there. That's a huge misplay. Now they're going to send out Rhyperior, and this game is over as Rhyperior does lose the 0 shield to Dialga. Rhyperior is going to fire off the Breaking Swipe. Realistically, bringing in the Ho-Oh there didn't lose them the game. The game was over anyway, but still there's no reason to send in the Ho-Oh, as Ho-Oh is 1 HP. All you're doing is just giving the Kyurem a small energy head start. Either way, Dialga is going to be able to very comfortably take this win here, as it's going to make the Iron Head, and even at -1, Iron Head is massive overkill onto Rhyperior. I believe this is now 4-0 in the set, looking for the 5-0 set, and it's going to be a bit of a tricky game leading into Florges. Considering there's the Galarian Zapdos in the back, you kind of have to stay in and play out this matchup. Granted, it's not the worst matchup in the world, especially if you shield the Moonblast. They're actually running a weird moveset. They're on Disarming Voice. They're going to get a shield, save switch into Palkia, and now Dialga is going to hit the field. Dialga is going to shield. Dialga shielded a lot of Aqua Tails today, but this time gets it right, and that will be the Spatial Rend. Dialga is going to get a massive farm down, and this energy is going to be threatening to the Florges. Building up to the back-to-back Iron Heads, Florges, I believe this is going to be a CMP tie to a Disarming Voice, but Disarming Voice, it's not a great move. That's not going to be enough to knock out. Disarming Voice is going to connect. There's a switch by the opponent into Kyurem, but Kyurem's going to take a ton of damage from Iron Head. In comes Galarian Zapdos. It's a Dragon Tail Kyurem Black. They're not getting to a move. And now, this game is looking pretty nice here for Phoenix the boss. He's firing off the Ancient Power with the Zapdos, the No Shield from the Florges, and Florges, it's just running out of health. There's no ability to win the game now for the opponent. They're just going to let that go. And I believe that is going to secure the 5-0 set, 9-1 overall with this team. All in all, a team like this having such incredibly positive results, I think is a really clear sign that running double or even triple strong to opposing Kyurem is a winning strategy. With Kyurem being arguably the best Master League Pokemon currently, well, both of them, Kyurem White and Kyurem Black, running Pokemon like Dialga that can just do such a great job at shutting them down, and even a spicier pick, like, as we saw here, Galarian Zapdos, which even despite the energy generation nerf to counter some seasons back, was still putting in some work because counter still does quite a lot of fast move damage. And your own Kyurem on the lead, it just proves to be, again, a very successful strategy across the board, because that way opposing Kyurems don't really have any targets into your team, and considering that Kyurem's going to be on basically every team, then you're just putting yourself in a position to succeed against most opponents. Obviously, running ABA Dragon, some of the fairy types could be a little bit uncomfortable, but with how polarizingly strong Kyurem White is, I really feel like even fairies are not that terrible. Obviously, Dialga is fine into most of the fairy types, Ironhead is going to deal some very nice damage, and the insane fast move pressure from finally, at long last, having a good user of the fast move Ice Fang in the Master League. It really makes life uncomfortable for opponents, and even the few fairy types that we saw in these sets really struggled to find ground. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy watching content like this, please do consider leaving a like on the video and subscribing to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our channel members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is genuinely so appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.